This is episode 360 of the Super League pod. And I won't lie, it's going to be a tough listen for Leeds fans, in fact, most fans who aren't St Helens fans, as we recap the Super League Grand Final with your fan match reviews and the key stats from the game to help us along. There are also consequences in Featherstone to discuss, the 3 World Cups to start getting excited about, and not one but 2 quizzes that include some lesser known stats and facts that you can impress your pals with. So strap in, it's SLP time. Hello listeners, welcome along to episode 360 of the Super League pod. You've got myself, Mark, and I'm joined by Grand Final winning fan David. How are you feeling, Mr. David?
I'm feeling buoyant still, Mark. To be honest, had a terrific weekend. Thank you very much.
That's good to hear. Now, you know, do you ever listen to the Off Menu podcast?
No.
And they do so it's a food podcast, a comedy food podcast, and they do like a secret ingredient that if their guest mentions, they kick them out of the show, and that's it. So we do have our own version this week, and if you mention the term forepee at any point, the recording will end, the show will stop, and we won't be able to ever discuss it again. So just be on your best behaviour with that, David.
I'll do my very best. Okie doke.
However, do you want to tell us about our sponsor?
I certainly will. Super League Pod is sponsored by Rob's Megastore. Rob's Megastore stocks a wide variety of toy stationery, art, craft ideas, pet accessories, books, and of course Rugby League birthday cards. Search for Rob's Megastore on eBay or find the link in our episode blog post on superleaguepod.com. SLP listeners can use the code SLP10, that's SLP10 at checkout to get a 10% discount off any orders over £5, or you can enter SLP discount and give your 10% towards funding SLP's running costs instead, for which we would be very grateful.
Yep. So on the show today, we're going to recap the Super League Grand Final. Hopefully, David, your smugness levels will be bearable.
I'll do my best. I've been practicing all day.
And at least no other Saints fan volunteered to come on and bask in the win with you, so that's a bonus for me. But you know, that's a shame. But anyway, that's where we're at. We have got plenty of fan views to cover off, and we're going to go through the game and the day with yourself anyway, so that's going to be fine. We'll put a bow on our predictions and fantasy competitions. We'll cover off what's been going on in the rest of the sport too as the playoffs progress elsewhere. I mean, we don't plan on there being a show next week to talk about the finals in those competitions, but we'll talk about where they're up to so far, and particularly the big surprise result in the championship on Sunday. Time permitting, we'll maybe talk about some of the World Cup squads and some of the World Cup injury news and that sort of thing that's been feeding through so far around that. And then for the wrap up, I've got some stats to share from the season just gone now. That's finished in 2022. David, that'll sort of form a basis of a quiz for you, but I also asked you to write a quiz for me because I forgot that I was going to write this quiz about stats. So we've got 2 quizzes, which is great.
Double quizzing, a bonus.
Yeah. Just before we do get into the grand final, a couple of shout outs. So, or really calling things out for the listeners. So, voting on the SLP Awards and SLP Dream Team, they're now open. So please do vote. We spend, our own free time coming up with these shortlists and these awards and this sort of thing. Hopefully you guys get some enjoyment out of that. We'll have a show in a couple of weeks' time, just in the build up to the World Cup. So it'll be there for people to basically listen to whilst they're travelling to World Cup games is our plan, where we'll announce the awards and the Dream Team, but without people's votes, they're going to be pretty boring announcements. So I'll include the links in the show notes. The links will also be popping up on our Twitter and Facebook social media channels. So please do vote. Please also hit retweet, share, make sure other people are voting, get as wider a view from the fans as we can. That's what we're always hoping to do here on SLP. So please do make your votes count. Then in terms of the World Cup, just sort of mentioning that then, we were just chatting before we started recording, weren't we, David? I've got tickets to 26 games now.
Wow,
and
that is big.
I thought it was impressive until our great friend recently married. Congratulations, Brian and Anne. Brian Davies has got tickets to 33 matches.
Oh my God.
Okay. He's going to watch matches. He's going to one venue every day of the World Cup. So every day that there's games on, he's at least going to be at one of those games.
That is dedication for you.
Yeah, I know.
I need to up my game. Mate.
I was feeling quite proud of myself until I saw Bry's message. It's absolutely fantastic. So well done to Brian. And congratulations, of course, as well to them both again. So we're going to be all of us are going to be at some World Cup games. I'm going to be at quite a few. Lots of them, there'll be good chances for meetups and that sort of thing. Especially, I'm in Newcastle for the opening weekend, watching the game on the Saturday and on the Sunday. So
yeah, me too.
In classic SLP style, I'll see you all at Rosie's after the final hooter.
Yeah. That's the place to meet.
That's it. I think we bring the magic weekend to October.
Yeah.
Then another good opportunity for a meet-up is in Leeds when it's the first of the two women's double-headers, the ones that kick off earlier in the day, the first round of the women's competition early in November. Steve Mascord's got one of his book launch events at the Sky Rack in Headingley after the game, so that'd be a great opportunity, I think, for some people to meet up. So there's that one. I'll be in York as well for the doubleheader there the next day. I'll also be in Sheffield for the wheelchair doubleheader, but I'll be shooting off after that to get to the quarter-final at Huddersfield. But I'll be in Sheffield on the Thursday night. So that week is rife with meet-up opportunities, people. Obviously, there's the final doubleheader as well. There's a doubleheader in Wigan, which will be over quite early enough for everyone to crash on down to Wigan Central and have some fine cask ale. So there's loads of opportunities anyway to meet up in the World Cup. So please do tell us what games you'll all be at, and we'll try and say hello and get some pics and stuff for the social media, because if you want to get in touch and get involved, it's at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram, or facebook.com/Super League Pod. You can email superleaguepod@gmail.com or visit superleaguepod.com to get the info on each episode and links to the Google forms for your fan views. Impertinent this time, superleaguepod.com will have links to the voting forms for the awards, because there's no more match reviews to send in this year. And don't forget to subscribe on whatever podcast you're listening to us on. Leave a rating and review if you can. Okay, I think we've stalled long enough.
Let's crack on.
I'll move on to you having an hour-long joy session, I think is what it might be for you, as we recap the Super League Grand Final. So, David, as you well know, but some of the listeners might not have caught up yet, on Saturday it was the Super League Grand Final. It was St Helens 24, Leeds Rhinos 12, the final score. It was actually 12-6 at half-time, so a little bit of symmetry there in the first half and second half for Saints and Leeds. 60,783 was the crowd. That's the second, I think, was it the second lowest crowd since Old Trafford was extended back in the early noughts, so that's a worry. But we won't dwell on that too much. Hopefully IMG have things going on that's going to address these sorts of things. Liam Moore was the referee. I thought he was if we were giving a player of the week away, I'd give it to Liam Moore. I thought it was his best game of the year. So well done to Liam Moore. Not that he had a huge amount to contend with, and I'm sure you hated him still, because you know.
No, I thought he had a really good game.
In terms of the team stats, Saints made 130 more metres at nearly 1 metre per carry better average gain. Outside the metre numbers, though, Leeds had three more clean breaks and two more errors. So, that's how that balanced out. Nothing super exciting on the team stats. What about the individual numbers?
So for the Saints, Tommy Makinson, 169 metres. Iggy Passy made 5 tackle busts, 159 metres and 3 offloads. Johnny Lomax, 1 try assist, 5 tackle busts, 155 metres. And Curtis Soronen, 119 metres. For the losing gallant Leeds side, James Bentley, 55 tackles, 26 from marker. That's an all-time SLP record, is it, Mark?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Highest marker tackles number in any game since we started back at the start of 2014.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Reece Martin, 1 try, 9 tackle busts, 181 metres and 3 offloads. Also, a Super League consecutive goals record broken, now 38 in a row. He's some kicker, that fella. Zach Hardacre, 8 tackle busts, 130 metres, and Liam Sutcliffe, 124 metres. I can't mention the forward, can I, Mark? So,
you can mention the word for, but not when it gets crammed into something that doesn't make sense. At MikeWeb58 said, simply formidable. You can't see the pun, but you could sense the pun in the way I pronounced it, I think, with basically the contempt in my voice. Exclamation marks, not asterisks, he says. May not be Saints' best team individually, but certainly its sum of its parts makes it the best team by a long way. Frighteningly, only 6 of the 17 players played in the 2019 final. Well, that means it can't be the best team ever then, because it's not the same team.
I agree with that.
Anyway, didn't like Tommy's tribute to Ryan Bailey at the end. Not classy. Christian Wolf, not coach of the year again. Thank you.
Crossed Wire says, went out last time and watched with the lads. As a Wire fan, it was hard to cheer on either side, but the vibe was we were on Leeds. Having some time to sleep on it, I think it's better to witness an historic Saints victory with their 4 in a row. Ooh, I feel dirty. Great game, but Leeds were never in it. It's a bit harsh, but yeah.
But I get the dirtiness. David Hunter said, fast start from Saints, courtesy of poor defence on Leeds' right and poor set completions by them in Saints' end. Leeds all trick shots and 2 lateral. Saints went through the front door. Leeds go through the middle once and score before half. Started second half lateral again. Saints took advantage. Pass at 24-12 forward? ? More impatience with the ball from Martin and Saints closed it out. Completed with running backwards and playing wolf footage backwards in a kind of Benny Hill moment.
Frogmore, men against boys. I told you, back to back to back to back to back. That's 4 for 4, per favor, senor. Very nice, Froggy.
Yeah. Jen K said, not exactly a classic grand final. Leeds' performance reminded me of Cass in 2017. Never really in the game at all. Fair play to Leeds for beating Wigan in the semi, but I feel like it was a waste when they didn't even give Saints a scare.
Leighton Rhino, the fairy tale couldn't last, but getting to the final was a victory in itself. Can't wait to see what the Rowan era will bring next year.
Pop the Viking said, Saints the better team on the night and deserved the win. Got to mention the officials who had a great game.
Yeah. EFC 78.
Oh, this is a funny one this time. Oh, yeah, EFC's gone full. I've been angry a lot recently in general life because of the way of the world. But EFC, the rage that he's been bringing this year has cracked me up something chronic, and this is one way for him to end.
Yeah, he's gone full on here. Gutted that them bastards have won it 4 times in a row. Who's ever going to stop their team? Felt bad for Leeds losing after coming all this way just to be runners-up. Just need to time their plays like the passes and runs to the points on for the 2023 season. They go again next year. Congrats, St Helens, on winning again. Give someone else a go with the trophy for once. Thank God this twatting season is finally over.
Twatting season. It's twatting season. Oh, I love it. John Hamilton said, Saints quick off the mark while Leeds were settling in. Could have gotten ugly, but Leeds did well to stay in it in the second quarter. Saints were ready to start running riot. Leeds were slick in parts and defended well, but couldn't come up with enough points. Very happy with how Leeds' season ended, and there's still more to improve. Saints weren't perfect and made some errors, but still far too good and a step above the rest.
And finally, Callum Percy, 99, the